Well, they say timing is everything, and I should know. I've had some criticism about some of the things that I have said, given the timing of certain aspects. But there was an event this last week, actually just, I believe, a day or two ago, in which the entire Brazilian soccer team was killed in a plane crash. Actually, it might have been a couple of survivors. And an Australian comedian, in an attempt to be funny, took to Twitter and made a joke about how the survivors were heard screaming for a penalty. Now, this is something that obviously is poor taste, and there are some things that are in poor taste no matter when the joke is made. I like a Holocaust joke, for instance, always in poor taste as far as I'm concerned. The point, however, is that with our instant access today to things like Twitter, Facebook, all these other social media, I think a lot of times people forget to have the kind of mental screening that you used to have when you would sit to write a letter. You're going to communicate something to somebody that it's going to be there. And you want to think carefully about what you say. So when you're writing down, I think even the process of writing takes a lot of that mental effort, and you kind of screen yourself and say, is that something I really want to say? Now that we've got this instant access, people say things all the time that sometimes they don't mean, sometimes they react in anger, sometimes they make a sick joke. I guess my point in this is saying that I wish that all of us, myself included, would learn to put that mental filter in place so that we think a little bit more before we speak. And obviously by speaking, I mean any kind of expression, whether it's online, whether it's to your spouse, whether it's to your kids. Just that words do have power. And in some cases, people almost view those words like magic. That, oh my goodness, you didn't just say that. The words do hurt, and I get that. I guess I'm making a call for people to be more sensitive to one another, not in the sense of validating invalid feelings, because I do think that sometimes not every feeling is valid. I will say that. You do not have a right to act out against someone because you were personally offended. You don't. You can be offended all you like, but if you cannot rationally explain why it is that you're offended, I'm not really sure that you have a valid reason to be offended. There are a number of, obviously, depending on where you go with your offense, I mean, like in this case, the comedian, this Australian, making this sick joke, almost immediately he was hit with a firestorm criticizing him, and probably justifiably so, and he has now apologized for it. I don't know if it's going to cost him any work. I don't know if it's going to cost him his reputation. There are consequences, obviously, to free speech, and restricting free speech, I think, sometimes also restricts the consequences. And sometimes, however, the consequences that happen from free speech are from people who just don't want to think about the issue that has been brought up. In this case, a sick joke about people dying, well, you brought it on yourself, right? And I can say that because I've brought things on myself before. That's what I got for you today. Hope you enjoyed it. If you like what I'm doing, please let me know what topics you want me to cover at my website. Just go to radiofreespeech.com. Send me an email, steve@radiofreespeech.com. Consider becoming a sponsor so that we can keep doing this and hopefully add in a phone line and have an actual dialogue. That's my goal. Once again, online, radiofreespeech.com. Check it out. Thanks.